Hey guys, I know I've just kind of been, shitposting lately. The reviews are being delayed because my school schedule got screwed over by a teacher's strike. But while I have a bit of time, I wanted to give my final thoughts on the ending of Danganronpa V3. If you watched me play it, you probably think you know what I'm going to say, but I've been thinking about the ending ever since I saw it. It's been stewing in the back of my mind for a couple months now, so I just want to get it all out, plus some extra plot stuff I want to mention too. Obviously, this is going to spoil the entirety of V3, so you've been warned. Oh, by the way, I don't care who wrote it, I just care how it turned out. Whether or not this is Kodaka trolling doesn't matter. Let's start with the twist, the fact that it was a TV show the entire time. I guess you could say that the twist of it all being fiction isn't the worst thing ever. And looking back now, it was kind of foreshadowed by way of absurdity. I think the first thing that really makes you question the reality of this world is the free time events. You know how in Danganronpa 2, when you talk to Nagito, he tells you this insane story of how his parents were killed in a plane hijacking, he got kidnapped by a serial killer, and he survives lymphoma and frontotemporal dementia all because of his luck? Yeah, that's absolutely absurd, and so are plenty of other backstories of characters in this series. But some characters' backstories are rather ordinary outside of the fact that they're really talented at something. The difference here is that near every character in V3 has a pretty wild, made-up history, except Tsumagi and Kaede, but that was probably intentional. I mean, Maki was an assassin before she'd even hit puberty, Kirumi was secretly running the whole country, Dota was raised by lizard people, Angie was a cult leader, Korekiyo was an incestuous serial killer with a split personality, and Ryoma destroyed an entire mafia organization with a steel tennis ball. This is a bit too crazy even for a universe where a teenage girl managed to cause the apocalypse and ghosts are real. But considering the fact that the Danganronpa 3 anime and its shit dub are also canon, I wouldn't blame anyone for not picking up on it, because I didn't either. The bigger hint would be just how friggin' twisty the story that's set up is. Like, how is this all gonna fit together in the end? Also, the reveal that everyone else in the world is dead because of space aids, since really, where the hell do you go from there? But again, how does it all fit together in the end? The answer is, it doesn't, and it doesn't have to because it was all made up. And then the game basically wags its finger at you for enjoying a series based around teenagers killing each other. Yeah, we're all bad people. I'll admit, my initial reaction was that of disgust and anger, because what the fuck, why are you hating on me for enjoying playing a game you sold to me for $80 goddamn dollars? And I'm not a fan of being called salty for not liking it either. We're all allowed to hold opinions about a story, and it's not really fair to diss someone for not liking the ending. Even if you liked it, you know it's controversial. The second Junko showed up, you should have known it would be. My biggest problem with the ending is that it feels lazy, yet overly complicated. Have you ever had to do a chore, but it's boring, so you try to come up with a bunch of shortcuts to get it done sooner, but in reality it would have been easier and quicker to just do it the normal way? Yeah, that's what this ending feels like. Not only does it seem like a weak "it was all a dream" style cop-out when you first see it, it goes on for way too long after you already get the point. And the idea that this was all some show that humanity watches because they need real entertainment in a boring world of peace is just unbelievable. Having this story conclude in a simpler way would have made more sense. Just drop the twist that it's connected to the first two games and say it's set in an alternate universe where Junko's despair apocalypse got interrupted by meteorites, so she snuck on board the spaceship with the surviving Ultimate students to wipe out the last of humanity. Or, better yet, don't have Junko at all and just say Tsumagi is the ultimate despair in this universe. And honestly, if the series continues after this, where else could they go but an alternate universe / reboot? Surely with Junko dead thrice over, we can just leave her and the old characters where they are, right? Whatever, I only write game reviews and fanfiction, so I wouldn't know what's best for the series, but really, where does it go from here? And I have to talk about this TV show. First off, V3 being 53 is pretty clever, I'll admit that. But the characters that are in the show. So, these are real people that auditioned to be part of the Killing Game, and granted, I might take part in a Danganronpa game if given the chance, because my life is in shambles and I want to die anyway, but that's me. I'd be me. A me that chose to be there and knows why I'm there. From the way Shuichi talked during his audition tape, it looked like he knew he'd just be playing a role. Did these kids know that their memories will be wiped and they'd never get their old lives back even if they won the game? From the tapes we saw, it seemed like they wanted in because they thought they'd be able to kill someone and get away with it. But what's the point if you're not you? Why roll the dice with your life if there's a chance that the new personality you're given is too cowardly or too moral to kill somebody? Even if you have a shot at winning, you might get screwed over by the producers infecting you with space aids like they did with Kaito. Besides that, the you that wanted to be in Danganronpa wouldn't even exist anymore, so what's the point? And don't tell me that they thought it was all acting or something when they signed up, because a show like this would be wrapped up in a shitload of legal red tape, and there's no way you can hide a secret like memory wiping from the whole world for 53 friggin' seasons. And I could believe someone's suicidal auditioning because they don't care about their life anymore, but you gotta remember, this game is for high schoolers only. How many 18-year-olds would throw their whole lives away for this? And yes, they'd have to be at least 18. No way a parent would let their child sign up for this, because even if they win, they forget everything and everyone they used to know. I'm not gonna hate if you like this whole TV show thing, but please tell me I'm not the only one who sees how confusing this mess is. And then the after credits scene where it's hinted that it may have been real the whole time. Just make up your fucking mind. It's not as bad as my initial impression. However, I don't think it was executed very well. There were people who were far angrier than I was about this, and I can see why. The ending pretty much says all the characters we knew throughout the game were really a bunch of assholes that wanted to kill somebody, and their personalities were made up bullshit. It just makes everything seem pointless, and I'm sure there's arguments to be made about that not being true because of the story's major theme of lies and stuff. I'm sure someone will say that I just didn't get it and the whole meta angle was genius that I'm not seeing. Fine, I fully admit that I'm too stupid to understand many things, but I know what I like. And it's not this ending. Oh, and while we're throwing logs on the fire, I still hate Kokichi. It's a bad idea to call him a Nagito ripoff, not just because certain people will tear my throat out for saying that. It seems every Danganronpa game needs at least one asshole that complicates things more than necessary. On a 1 to 10 scale of fuckery, Byakuya's a 6, Nagito's a 10, and Kokichi is a 13. And the game tries to throw it in your face after he dies that he had a plan to end the killing game because he learned the secrets of the outside world. Well, the fictional outside world. But here's where he's left me confused, which was probably the point since Kokichi personifies V3's theme of lies. So he wanted to end the killing game from the beginning, even if it meant everyone feeling the despair hardcore. And part of his plan involved getting 2 people killed. And yes, you're right, I am holding a grudge over what he did to Gonta. There were definitely better solutions that he ignored for the sake of causing more suffering, unless his plan to end the killing game was to end it by having everybody die. Then he figured he could just pretend to be the mastermind to end it without the real mastermind interfering in some way, which they did. But then he also had a plan that required him to die, for which he had a fucking book prepared for Kaito to use. By the way, he got so lucky that the Exisals had a voice-changing function. Who put in that feature anyway? The Exisals were being controlled by the Monocubs, and they would have no reason nor any real need to change their voices. And I'm fine with being challenged on this, but please provide a better explanation than it was all a lie. Okay, I think that's everything I wanted to say. Oh, wait, one more thing. If Gonta's eyesight is so good that he can see the Nanokumas, why does he wear glasses? Okay, yeah, that's everything. Merry Christmas.